But research revealed exclusively on this show shows the government is paying over £200 million to organisations campaigning against its policies on getting tough with illegal immigration.
Let's now welcome MP for Ashfield, Lee Anderson, a member of the Home Affairs Select Committee. So, Lee, tell us more about this, about the government giving money to organisations campaigning against its own policies.
Well, there's not much to tell, really, Phil. It's just another lot of nonsense. We can see that currently we're spending £6 to £7 million a day housing illegal immigrants in this country. We're spending millions and millions more, ferrying them over here, legal challenges, etc. And then, hey presto, the British taxpayer is stumping up once again to cough up over £200 million over the past 4 or 5 years to actually challenge our own government on these issues. It's absolute madness. I read this report this week and I was absolutely stunned, like you probably are, you two there. It's madness, Phil, Esther. You know where I stand on this. Taxpayers' money being frittered away on these lefty organisations which are challenging government at every opportunity. And you know what? We've seen more deaths in the Channel this week. And I say that some of these organisations are complicit in this evil, vile trade that we see that's costing lives in the Channel.
So, I mean, just to put this is research from Conservative Way Forward, I should say, and they say that the Refugee Council called the Rwanda scheme cruel and unworkable. They've got £27 million from the government. Migrant Help, £65 million. They've got a £235 million 10-year contract. Refugee Action said that the Rwanda policy was racist at its core. They got £17 million. People's History Museum, £3.6 million. Law Centres Network, £4.1 million. Bond said that sending people to Rwanda was shamefully cruel. They got £5.6 million. I mean, do you think it should be part of any contract, Lee, that the government gives out, that these organisations shouldn't criticise government policy if they're wanting government money?
Well, I'll tell you what, Phil, if it's a good point. If they did that, some of these chief execs would soon be crossing this off the agenda. Look, these organisations, Phil, which you just spoke about, listed very well. These are part of a massive industry, and it starts with the people traffickers. It starts with the people traffickers. It starts with the when they get here onto our shores, they ferried off in buses to luxury hotels. So the hospitality industry is making a mint. Serco's making a mint. The lefty lawyers are making a mint. And then you see these so-called charities, these lefty charities, they're making a packet too from government. So it's a whole massive industry, which unfortunately is being paid for by the good people of Ashfield through their taxes. And you know where I stand on this. I've been probably one of the most vocal MPs in the House over the past 2 or 3 years on this subject. It's nonsense. It winds me up. We need to stop doing these do-gooders, raking in hundreds of millions for these charities, challenging our own government. How did we get to this position, Phil? You're quite right. If you're going to challenge our government, go and find your money from somewhere else. Go and ask the Labour Party for some money, or the unions.
And obviously, as the chair of the Blue Collar Conservative Group, the strike action, where do your sympathies lie here with all of the strikes that are happening at the moment?
Well, isn't it funny, Esther, that, we've just come through probably one of the worst times of my lifetime with COVID, with the country being locked down, the government bailing out the country with millions, hundreds of millions of pounds of taxpayers' money. Let's remember it's taxpayers' money. We've got a massive debt to pay off. And what do the unions do? What they think is a good idea now to hold the country to ransom. And you see these creatures like Mick Lynch. He thinks it's great. He's gloating. I tell you what, though, Esther, Phil, it's not costing him a single penny. He's not losing a day's wages. He's not missing that hospital appointment. He's not missing his kids getting to that important exams, what they might be doing in January. He's not missing out on anything. All he's doing is creating disruption, and he's spouting out the same left-wing nonsense every single day to try and bring this government down. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Lee Anderson, straight talking as ever, in the real world as ever. Thanks for joining us.